For the 8th day now, Ukraine has witnessed a full-scale Russian invasion. With the Russian military assault came the Russian president's rhetoric, which has left experts questioning his rationale and his endgame. It has not gone exactly as per plan. Russian forces have made much slower progress than was expected. The Russian side has also been hit with logistical issues. Experts saying, though Vladimir Putin has been surrounded by his advisors, nobody has challenged his version of reality and the miscalculations when it comes to the invasion. But how far is Putin willing to go to conquer Ukraine? What is certain is a game plan for the coming weeks. There are concerns that a massive Russian convoy of military vehicles and manpower is slowly approaching the Ukrainian capital, Kyiv. A possible large-scale offensive against the city is likely sooner rather than later. With the fall of Kherson city after relentless artillery fire, Kremlin troops have gained vital bridgehead to attack the capital. Russia plans to set up a military administration there. From Kherson, Russian forces can cross the river Dnieper, which cuts Ukraine into two, and head westwards and northwards to attack Kyiv from a second direction. Despite the Russian president claiming that he would not target civilians, the southern port city of Mariupol has been flattened with water and electricity supplies cut off, the rail link shut down. Classic siege tactics are at play by Russia. Not just that, the Russian president also plans to use his Black Sea fleet to launch a seaborne invasion in the southwest of the country, and the city of Mariupol stands in the way of Putin from controlling the coastline from Donbas to Crimea. Having captured Kherson, Putin needs to control Mariupol in order to link the city of Odessa with Crimea and cut off Ukraine from the sea. Odessa is the largest seaport in Ukraine and one of the largest ports in the Black Sea basin. Seizing it would be a coup for Moscow. Ukraine also has warned of a possible invasion from the Black Sea. 3 weeks ago, 3 Russian Navy vessels transited the Bosphorus to enter the Black Sea. Some analysts, however, contradict the opinion on the Russian setbacks. They say Russia may have sought a knockout blow, but always had well-laid plans for follow-on assaults if its initial moves proved to be insufficient. When Vladimir Putin invaded Crimea back in 2014, his popularity soared to 82%, despite global condemnation and sanctions imposed on Russia. This time, however, things are different. Russia's invasion of Ukraine has been widely deplored, and the West seems to be more united today than it was in 2014. Taking unprecedented steps to punish Russia, but can these global sanctions and widespread protests at home stop the Russian president, or will they make him more determined to carry out this game plan? For more on these developments, with us is Nikolai Topornin, a political commentator from Moscow. Thanks very much for being here with us. What's your assessment of the Russian advancement on the ground in Ukraine?
Hello to everybody in India from Moscow. You know, the situation is, of course, very complicated because we don't have here a very clear picture of what is going on in Ukraine. We know that there are very hard battles in different regions of Ukraine, and first of all, we should speak about the situation near Kyiv, near Kharkiv, near Mariupol. This is the most famous cities, maybe for you in India, because Kyiv is the capital of the Ukraine. Kharkiv is the ancient capital of Ukraine, so the biggest cities in Ukraine. But as I know, there is no big change for today in the situation near the cities. Yes, there are Russian troops over there. Yes, there are Ukrainian defenders, and in my view, situation. Let's speak about military situation. It is rather balanced, rather stable for the time being. So there is no progress from any of the parties. This night was more or less peaceful, I would say, because there were no rocket firing, and there were no big battles, tank battles, and other battles. So at least we hear it in Moscow about the situation in Ukraine. We are waiting, for the negotiations, because it was fixed that today at around 4 o'clock Moscow time, it was an hour ago actually, two delegations, one from Russia and another one from Ukraine, should have met in the Belarus border with Ukraine. I don't know for the time being if the negotiations started. I know that a Russian delegation is already sitting there and waiting for Ukrainian delegation. Ukrainian delegation took a very long way to this location because they go not directly through Ukrainian territory, and Belarus is bordering with Ukraine, but in terms of safety, they decided to go via Poland. This is much more longer and takes a longer time, but it is more safe for Ukrainian delegation.
Right.
So we hope that they should meet around this time, and we are very hopeful that at least they can have a certain agreement over stopping bombing and stopping firing, because it is clear that civil people, they need time just to go to shops, just to go to outside the buildings. You understand that they need it for water, for food stuff, for anything, for medicines also, and just to relax, because it's very difficult to live under such situation. I'm sorry?
Absolutely. Since you mentioned that, the Russian foreign minister says Russia is ready to talk. In the same breath says the country will not stop targeting Ukraine military. How exactly does that work?
That's difficult to say, because we should know the exact situation in Ukraine in military terms. We here, we don't know it. We can, of course, trace some channels, some social networking, and our connection with our friends and colleagues in Ukraine. I can also have personal friends in Kyiv and some other cities of Ukraine, and I receive from them feedback what is going on there. And I know for the time being that there are not strong battles for the time being. So strong battles, I mean that all type of firings, with tank firings, with air jets firing, etc., etc. But there is no also a full ceasefire. I mean full ceasefire, because there is no agreement, and we hope that both delegations can come to the agreement of temporary ceasefire in Ukraine. It is very important,
sure,
as I said. But of course, we wait for some principal compromise. What should be done next in Ukraine? Should Russia withdraw its troops, or should there be another fighting? This is a question. We still don't have an answer to this question.
Sure, but what I was trying to ask was, shouldn't the attack be halted for the talks to go ahead? Russia keeps saying that it's ready for talks, even while those attacks on the ground continue.
That's true. That's a very unclear situation. If you have talks, maybe you shouldn't go further with military attacks. You should stop firing. But we don't know exactly if it will be done in such a way. We don't know how Russian troops will act. For the time being, as I told you, there is no serious battles for the time being, as I know, but it can change any time further. So there is no, at least I know that there is no agreement about ceasefire, even temporary ceasefire. We are waiting for it. This is very important if both sides want to go further with negotiations. Otherwise, I know that it can be stopped and the war can go further.
So Ukraine definitely does want a ceasefire. Nikolai, would you say that Russia underestimated the strength of Ukraine's resistance?
Yes, let's be frank. I know that here there are some estimations that when Russian troops come to Kyiv or to Kharkov, then all civil people living in these cities will go on the streets and will welcome Russian troops. I think there was some estimations of that in Kremlin because they said to us, to Russian people, when the operation started, that this will be a bit similar to the operation held in Crimea in 2014. And I remind you that there was no shooting at all. There was no shooting at all, just it was very peaceful. And people were really very happy that Crimea could return to Russian Federation, because I must tell you that it was Russian Federation from the 2 centuries ago. 2 centuries ago, and it became Ukrainian territory when Soviet Union dissolved in 1991. That was in our society, of course, there is understanding that Crimean people are Russian people, and this was a Russian territory, so there was no question about it in 2014. And, all the people supported, all Crimean people supported this referendum that was held and when they took a decision to come back to Russia. But this time, our authorities also said that they expect that Ukrainians, maybe majority, not all of them, but Ukrainians will support the Russian troops in Ukraine. But we see that situation is quite different. Nobody supports. On the contrary, many ordinary people, many Ukrainians, many citizens, they take weapons in their hands and start shooting at Russian soldiers.
We've been seeing visuals of the civilians taking up arms to defend the country against the Russian aggression. Nikolai, we are out of time. Thanks very much for joining us on the broadcast with those perspectives.
Bye, India. Bye, India. Bye.
WION now available in your country. Download the app now. Get all the news on the move.